Michael Gibson fell ill with a cough and temperature in March. A resident had recently arrived back from hospital, COVID positive. She's now raising money to take the government to court.
I absolutely blame the government for my father's death and for the death of the, more than 25,000 people who died in care homes during the coronavirus pandemic. They worked very hard to tell older people to stay at home if they were still living in their own homes, but did absolutely nothing to protect the most vulnerable.
And now, in a damning report, Parliament's Public Accounts Committee concludes confusion and poor central control marred the government's pandemic response. Discharging hospital patients into social care without testing them was an appalling error, which continued even once it was clear there was an emerging problem. Social care felt abandoned as a result of this reckless and negligent policy.
Care homes were left at the end of the chain, scrabbling around for that PPE, scrabbling around to try and get tests, and it's not really the way to run something. We did know and plan for a pandemic. It's the top non-malicious risk.
Oh, they planned it all right. Event 201.
Thought through in advance, and so that didn't help when it came to actually dealing with the real pandemic.
The government says alongside an extra £1.3 billion to support the hospital discharge process, we have provided 172 million items of PPE to the social care
You see what people aren't getting because they think it's real.
Are testing all
they think everything's accidents and government have made a mistake.
In care homes for
they never made any mistake because it was all orchestrated
residential care
by those at the top of the pyramid.
Down a second time.
We know
powerfulest people on the planet.
Can do to effectively protect both those receiving
government leaders have just gone along with it
in the sector, but we're hugely reliant still on
that's what the real agenda is
around testing, particularly and indeed
it's no accident that people in nursing homes are dead.
We expect every decision to be right first time, but as this report makes clear, the government has many lessons to learn to ensure care homes can continue to cope as this pandemic progresses. Catherine Jones.
Don't forget what Bill Gates said. It's the death panel. We're not supposed to talk about that. That's what Bill Gates said. The death panel.
To avoid the kind of restrictions seen in Leicester. A dramatic rise in coronavirus infections means residents cannot have household visitors and must keep 2 metres apart from others when outdoors. But there are concerns that the message isn't getting through to those who need it the most. From Oldham, here's Tom Barton.
It might not look very different from a typical Wednesday morning at Oldham's Market, but in a town where people are being advised to take extra care to avoid catching COVID.
Being advised to be brainwashed. Get your mask on, sanitise your hands.
I like things like that. But we've just got to go with the flow and hope that people can follow the procedures.
Well, you haven't got to go with the flow, mate. You only go with the flow if you're got the herd mentality. You're a sheep and you can't be asked to look on the internet and look at what's really going on and understand how the world ticks, run by sick elite fucking people.
Economic impact. So
Gates is at the back of it all.
On why we are seeing cases, so we have high deprivation areas, we have high density properties. We have households where
Gates and Fauci.
Multiple people live in a household, and that's all linked to poverty.
Among new restrictions being introduced, people are being asked to avoid social visits to each other's homes. Alongside the new restrictions, the authorities here...
Well, that makes any difference, truly.
Testing, opening more...
People need to open their minds and realise if there was a real epidemic.
Early.
You wouldn't be just nitpicking at stuff. Oh, just 2 meters here. Oh, so many days. Oh, do this. Oh, you don't have to do this in this place. It'd be total lockdown.
Normally, they'd expect.
That's how you eradicate a pandemic.
See on the floor all the
zero tolerance. Not fucking
stand and pray. It's been marked.
Treating it like a virus fuses and picks.
The Christian community, particularly vulnerable to COVID, is going to be very different.
Temperature checking. Controlled entrance, social distancing in the prayer hall. Normally you'd get 500 people in here. Due to the restrictions in place, we only are allowing 94 people in this hall.
New measures to contain the virus.
94 people? Where'd you get the 4 from?
Elsewhere.
Might as well go for it and get another 6 in to round it off to 100, hasn't it?
COVID-19.
94. What's another fucking 4 game make any difference? Everyone getting dropped dead if he chucks another 6 in.
Staffordshire are being urged to get tested after 10 positive cases of coronavirus. Health officials say the outbreak took place at the Crown and Anchor in Stone between July the 16th and 18th. A walk-in test centre has been set up in a local car park for those without symptoms. The government has signed its fourth coronavirus vaccine deal, this time for 60 million doses of a treatment being developed.
Getting a vaccine against people as well.
GSK and Sanofi.
Why didn't they fucking do a vote first or something like that? How many people sign something or go online and
it's unclear which
opt in or opt out so they can get an estimate if it's worth doing.
That the hospital system could face collapse after a sharp rise.
Oh no, they want to do that. They just want everybody shut up.
100 new infections.
Vaccines make money. It's big money.
Have been put in place, including
vaccines are all about big money. They think we're fucking stupid.
The row over the UK's quarantine policy for those arriving back.
Fucking God got it wrong, didn't he?
Rumbled on
Making when he made fucking Earth.
Has called on the government to
I'm not a preacher or a fucking God lover or out like that. I'd like to believe there is a God, but what government are trying to say is God got it fucking wrong.
Vincent McAviney is in
he made it so viruses exist in fresh air, so you've got to wear a mask. Government's right and fucking God's wrong, is that right? This prick going to say something or not?
I've lost sound.
Oh, that's a cock up.
Oh, it seems we've got Vincent McAviney there. Hopefully we can get him back before the end of the programme. Travelling abroad has become all the
more complicated,
hasn't it? Many of us are thinking about a staycation here in the UK instead. But there are calls for more support for areas which are reliant on tourism, with social distancing rules still in place.
Yeah, they love this word, don't they, social distancing? It's been a buzzword from word go on it.
Unless things pick up. One of those places is Bognor Regis in West Sussex.
And what's the other one they always like using? I'm still hearing it every day. Unprecedented.
It's a beach day in Bognor Regis, officially the sunniest spot in the UK, and tourists, the lifeblood of this town, are trickling back. But ice cream parlour owner Joe is still waiting for a post-lockdown rush.
We actually panicked. We just said to all the shops around here, how are we going to manage the crowd through the arcade? How are we going to manage social distancing through our little narrow arcade?
Manage it by going about your life normal, love.
Has brought back furloughed
if you suck up the bollocks, you'll make it harder.
Hours, and she can't see that changing.
If I think about the future, I'll get scared. If I think about this...
If you think about and understood what's truly going on, love, you will be fucking scared.
So many businesses...
It's a good job you're living in a fucking bubble, you would be terrified.
Because of social distancing measures. On a small scale, cafes and restaurants are limiting numbers. At the other end, Butlins down the road has...
So there's a lot who've got an open mind what are fucking fearful, because we know what's fucking going down. We know what's on the agenda.
To know how many staff they need.
Look how they're still doing all the social distancing shit when they're reporting to folk. Stood at that far away.
Are you back?
It's all for show.
Now you have reopened?
No, we're not.
But she's just been shaking his hand and hugging the fucking guy before she fucking interviewed him.
Looking again, you go back to the risk assessment. You do the risk assessment.
Oh, we're live. Right, step back. 2 meters.
Concerned, and then bringing back the staff accordingly to that.
The government said they have introduced an unprecedented package of...
Who would have thought they use fucking coronavirus as the pretext, to bring about the New World Order, what they've all spoke about.
For some.
Could say
Tony Blair, Gordon Brown.
The grants for our shops was amazing, but that's got us through the worst of it. That's got us through, the actual disease.
Bush family, they've all spoke about it.
Over the wound,
the New World Order.
Reinfected, so it's a case of we need that continuing support.
Some will benefit from the Eat Out to Help Out scheme and the VAT cut. They're holding out hope here for a staycation boom. They need it. Tessa Chapman, 5 News, Bognor Regis.
We've managed to get Vincent McAviney back on that quarantine row. Vincent, why have Heathrow bosses waded into the debate?
Britain's busiest airport has already lost £500 million in profit in the first half of 2020.
Ask government if they give a fuck.
It was strangely quiet for
they don't give a fuck. They orchestrated it all. They know all about it. They know what's coming. They know what it's going to do.
Before those that are currently in Spain got hit by this 2 weeks return quarantine. So the boss of Heathrow is now calling on the government to support the industry, starting with a testing scheme.
Taking a regional view of huge countries like the US and maybe Spain, that seems sensible given that the countries themselves are taking a much more targeted approach, but also testing and learning to see whether is an alternative to a 14-day blanket quarantine. We need to find a way of getting as close to normal as we can if we are going to save millions of jobs across the UK.
Heathrow admits it costs around £150 per passenger, but they say many people facing a loss of income in this new quarantine would be willing to pay this. But the government, on the other hand, doesn't seem to think this is a viable option.
The challenge with testing is it isn't a silver bullet, because you can be tested, not show positive as you step off that plane, and then subsequently get the disease. Of course, we're looking at
talk about it, disease.
I and all ministers, the Prime Minister included, want to minimise the disruption people are facing.
Undoubtedly, this would be a huge logistical exercise, but with countries like Germany and France having these schemes in place, many are wondering why the UK can't do the same. Sean?
What's the name of that stuff? Hydrochloroquine or something?
Coming up.
Just uploaded 2 videos, didn't I? One last night and one today. YouTube have took them both down, both videos. Comments were put in there saying it wouldn't probably last, and they've took them both down, YouTube. Why take them down? They take them down because it's a threat to the system. It obviously must have truth in it, or else why remove it? You wouldn't remove a video, would you, if it weren't in a danger to the system? It's a danger to Gates and Fauci and everyone involved who won't push that vaccine out. Big bucks, earn the money. That's what that's about. 2 videos removed about the hydrochloroquine, or whatever it's called. 2 videos taken down. I was suspicious myself that they wouldn't have lasted. And it's proven that they haven't bloody lasted. They've been took down. Piss you off, don't they, YouTube, eh? You wouldn't believe that you're living in an age now where we're not advanced, we've gone backwards. Living in an age now where you put something up, what's wrong? And it gets removed. What's wrong with the stuff being put up anyway, and people making their own decisions? You don't have to believe it. You're not actually brainwashing anybody. You know, if videos were left there, you don't want to believe it, or you don't want to follow it. Just don't believe it and don't follow it. Simple. There's no need for taking videos down, is there? But this is why we're living in this age now, censorship. Because the elitists and the powerful people running this planet, they only want to brainwash you, to control you, to follow one narrative. That's their narrative, the corrupt narrative. The lies, the deceit. Spin you one fucking line, and that's the only. If it's the only line you're getting, it's all what you'll ever know, isn't it? Look at the fucking what's going on since lockdown. All the lies that you've been spun and fed through the fucking news and the media. And how much everyone's been gullible and sucked up this shit. Because it's all what you're fucking getting, day in, day out.
They then gave interviews to an American magazine. Well, the Duchess maintains she didn't prompt that, she didn't even know about it.
Oh, I'm not interested in this fucking royal family. They can all get fucked for me. Don't do out for me, royal family. Can do without a fucking royal family. Tell you something, if royal family give a fucking rat's ass now what's going on in this country, where's their voice in this and try to stop what's going on? Because they're all part of it. They're all part of the corruption. They know what's going down. They're all part of it. Not surprised why fucking Harry and Meghan have fucked off. They probably knew it was fucking coming on road. Probably know how evil the fucking royal family are, so they fucking escape while they can. Anyway, that's 5 news. A bit of shit going on there. But over the vaccine, though, what's the point of a vaccine with that fucking that other drug? On about what videos have been took down? If that's a tablet, can fucking cure you. If this is a so-called COVID, which you never believed there was. If you can take a tablet, what's the purpose of a vaccine?
Madonna has been censured by Instagram after sharing a video about a coronavirus conspiracy theory. In the post, she claimed the vaccine had already been found but was being hidden.
She's right.
Labelled it as false information.
Oh, they will label it as false. If a fucking star's telling you, someone as big as Madonna, people are going to listen.
Health, and in particular our diets. And today, a government-backed report says eating habits in England are
It's being cut off then, let's just see what else is being said.
Avoiding it is to give children free school meals.
Like fucking government give a bollocks what you fucking eat and about your diet.
What does it say?
Well, it's alright for you go insane in lockdown and fucking possibly hang yourself. Now they want you looking like fucking catwalk models, do they?
Too much of that.
Have you fucking believe that? You fucking thick as shit.
And getting children into good habits early is clearly crucial. Now this panel of experts was set up by the government and its conclusion.
Now they're telling you what fucking eat.
1 million children should now be included in the free school meals programme at a cost of £670 million a year. So they're guaranteed at least one nutritious dish a day. Now they say these youngsters are being left behind because they're hungry, can't concentrate and therefore don't perform to their best.
You know the old saying, you are what you eat.
Social inequalities.
You eat shit.
For me,
you cannot think straight, you don't function right, and all sorts of magnitude of things.
Has to be one of the foundations of equality of opportunity. And any government...
Royals are alright, they're getting all the food specially prepared. They won't be eating GMO fucking food.
Should see this as a real opportunity, and it's money well...
And they'll be getting life-saving fucking drugs, no wonder none of them get fucking cancer.
Recommendation, Sharon. Well, Mr. Dimbleby, who says he struggles himself with his own weight, says it's essential that children from poorer backgrounds are fed during the school holidays and have access to free and healthy activities. The panel are also concerned about misleading packaging on food, and they singled out Percy Pig sweets.
Misleading packaging? Who reads packaging anyway? No fucker reads packaging.
Juice, and yet the first 4 ingredients listed are...
Only asked is I'm only asked about what's in the fucking packaging, what I'm going to eat, not fucking...
Sadly,
how fancy the package is, because I know that's bullshit anyway.
If they lose their jobs in a post-coronavirus recession. So the report's authors are now urging the government to act straight away to help children and their families for the sake of the long-term health of our country.
Oh, God.
Sharon, thanks.
Do you want your eat right for the sake of your long-term health? Oh, but we don't mind shooting your kids up with shitloads of vaccines a year. You can hear this crap.
But how do we remember
seriously
those who lost their lives to coronavirus?
They asked about kids, about what you eat now.
Another symbol being
but they don't mind shooting your kids up with vaccines.
To forget the victims.
Shitloads of fucking shots before their immune systems even develop properly.
3 young boys, all grieving the loss of their grandfather, now creating yellow hearts as a way to remember him. Jeff Wilson died in May after contracting COVID-19. His daughter Donna has created a wishing tree.
He was murdered in May, more like.
Hearts, along with any messages for the man they called Pappy.
It's helped them in ways that I can't even explain. The wishing tree that we've produced has been our way that they can write something to Pappy, they can express any way that they're feeling. And it's a way for them to express their grief.
How did they get onto this family? Go door to door?
And in years to come, they will always associate yellow hearts.
That's what baffles me with news, how they actually get onto these people to give these interviews and shit.
The hearts are now being spotted up and down the country.
Oh, I hope something else starting.
Uniting families.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Coronavirus.
God, we've got something else now what's going to be in every bastard's windows.
Her husband David came up with the idea for the yellow hearts and says it's really helped.
So we got to thank this fucking dude.
Useful. That's what our family's about.
Fucking hell.
We've always tried to be involved with other people and the public.
It's a bit like every time we had a terror incident, isn't it? Light a candle.
Tangible thing that we've done together.
Let's just light a candle and everything will be alright. Stick an eye in your window and we're all going to be fucking buzzing.
Before he died.
We haven't been able to grieve in the normal way.
I'm sorry, but I don't fucking swallow this bullshit, I really don't.
To dress our loved ones. Seeing a yellow heart is so positive, and it just...
I'm looking at a yellow heart now, I don't feel positive, because I know what's going down. I know what the fucking agenda is. You can show me a fucking script full of yellow hearts, you want to fucking change my mind.
Lost. Layla Hayes, 5 News.
Lovely.
I know what's fucking coming, I know how evil the fucking elitists are.
5 News.
What's planned?
Andy, what have you got?
Hi Sean, well today is the first day of the annual Hajj pilgrimage. Normally around 2 million Muslims.
Fuck me, you can see all these fucking hearts now everywhere. There'll be stickers next all stuck on there, and then they'll be having t-shirts, walking around with t-shirts on and all that. Like them pricks for fucking that Manchester Ariana Grande fucking folk having fucking bee tattoos and the tattoos on the bees stuck to the fucking cars. What a brainwashed society. There's not many of us left, is there, who's a fucking week.